Hello, our Friend with Jane's videos, and for this October I wanted to bring a fun little video as a part of Jack's Halloween Marathon that I haven't done something like this before, but I wanted to show off my vintage Halloween decorations. As a lot of people know, I'm really into vintage Halloween and stuff like that, so I thought it would be a nice little video to include in the marathon for this spooky month of October. And yeah, I don't have a whole lot, but I do have some. I mean, vintage Halloween decorations are quite expensive because I'm not talking about ones that just look vintage, because I have tons of those. I'm talking about the real deal, actual vintage Halloween decorations from back in the days of old. Halloween from long, long ago. So, we're gonna go by decades. I'm gonna start with the earliest, which is like 1920s, and we're gonna go all the way up through the most recent that I'd still consider vintage. Not really, but it's still older. It's not modern Halloween, which is the 90s. So, we're going to start with 1920s with what quite possibly may be the oldest thing I have, which I actually got. Most of these I got this year because I've really been looking for more vintage Halloween things this season in particular. So most of these I got this season. So we're going to start with this thing, which is the possibly the coolest vintage Halloween thing I have history-wise. This is from the 1920s, and this is a little lantern, black cat lantern. And 1920s, that's a long time ago for sure. Now, this thing, the history behind this is just insane because of how old it is. There's not very many of these left, especially in pretty good condition. I mean, it's missing the insert of the eyes and the mouth, but other than that, it's pretty good shape for considering it's 100 years old. That is crazy. I find vintage Halloween things to be cool aesthetically because they're just so Halloween, but also when you think about it, it's just awesome to think that on Halloween 100 years ago, someone was decorating their house with this. That's just so cool to me. And yeah, this is what a lot of vintage, this piece in particular, because there weren't a bunch of Halloween decorations back then. So there were certain pieces in particular that really stood out. And it's what a lot of modern reproductions of Halloween decorations are based upon these days, is this thing right here. Granted, there are other ones in existence, but there's not a whole lot. This thing's awesome. Really, really, really cool. Like, it's so cool. We're gonna move on to another 1920s thing, which is this lantern. This one I got last year. This thing is cool too. It is kind of broken, which is unfortunate, but it's still really cool. Like, I love it. It's got different designs on it, so the top's broken off here, but it's a little paper lantern. You have the black cat, the witch, the owl, and my favorite on here is the devil. I love that because it's very hard to find actual genuine vintage devil things for Halloween. Very, very hard. So this thing is awesome. I love all the sides of it though, and it just feels so Halloween, the black and orange. So cool. So that's another 1920s. This one is too. This is a black cat cutout. So a lot of these old cutouts were made onto like this paper that was already like cardboard or whatever, that already was a thing, and they just made it on top of it. But this thing's cool. I like it. I know I have some others because these ones my mom actually bought a long time ago. I know I have some others. I just don't know where they are, but there are other cats and stuff. I'm not sure if they're as old as this one though. I think this might be the oldest one of this style. There's also this one, which has always been my favorite, but it has seen much better days. It is not in good shape, which is unfortunate, but considering its age, this is 1920s or 30s. This black cat with, I mean, this is an iconic Halloween symbol too, which stemmed from this type of decoration. This thing is so cool, but as you can see, it has seen its age. It's missing an ear, it's missing top of the head, it's missing its arms, it's missing a leg. It's unfortunate because this thing is so awesome and this thing is so hard to find and it's so expensive when you can. This one is another one my mom purchased many, many years ago, so it's gone through a lot. And I mean, it's 100 years old and it's a piece of paper. It's gonna deteriorate and all of that. It's unfortunate. I'd like to get a better looking one day, but I still love this guy. He's so cool. I'm not sure if it's 20s or 30s. I honestly couldn't tell you. It's one of the two. I'm just not sure which. And there's actual writing on there from, I assume, the 20s. And that's pretty cool. Like, awesome. Really like that guy. Now this one I actually got. This is my most recent thing, which I got a couple of days ago. Which was actually given to me. I didn't even pay for this, which is awesome. This is the Bastille skeleton. So Bastille made a lot of those old Halloween cutouts, like this. Now I don't think like those ones, I don't think they were around yet, but like this, like these cardboard ones. Now I'm including this guy here because these were originally made in 1936. I do not believe at all that this is a 1936 model because it would not be in this good of shape. However, I also do not believe that this is a reproduction model from recent years because the reproduction models from recent years have wider eyes. They're not as squinty as this one. So I don't believe it's a reproduction either. I mean, it's a reproduction from the original 1936, but I don't think it's recent. I couldn't tell you when this one's from. I have no idea, but I know it's still a vintage one. Like, I know it's not new, but I know it's also not super old because the shape would be a lot different than it is. But yeah, this guy's big. He's got the joints. These things are classic, absolutely classic. Actually, they are pretty awesome. And actually, Mac told me the whole Bastille lore. All right, we're gonna move into the 60s now. That's a big jump from the 30s to the 60s, but we're gonna move into the 60s now. These are my favorite types of vintage Halloween decorations. I love them, and I'm glad they're making a resurgence as new things. Like, they're making new models of this type of stuff. Blow molds. I love blow molds because not only are they just super vintage and classic Halloween, obviously they're not as old as our 20s and 30s friends, but 60s is still a while ago for Halloween when you think about what Halloween is now and what type of stuff we have for Halloween now. This is still Halloween of the past for sure, and it's still quite a few years ago. So we have this guy who is really, really cool. This is the pumpkin one. This is a 1969, I'm pretty sure, if not 68, Empire. So I love the blow molds, not only because they're super vintage and cool, but I love when they glow and they light up, which I'm not going to show in this video because I don't have anywhere to plug it in where I'd still be able to hold it like this. But I'm sure you've seen blow molds many times before. There's been so many reproductions made of this particular blow mold because it's one of the most classic ones. I got this one way earlier this year, so not even during the Halloween season. I got this one way earlier this year. But I'm glad that I have it for this Halloween season. So I have it right now, and I have it decorating my house other than for this video. This is a great one, I like it. Now this one is one that I actually got this season. And it's been sitting in my living room throughout the season, and it's gonna go right back out there right after this video's done. Now this one's kind of broken. This pumpkin's broken off of here, and it's got a crack in the bottom. But I got a really good deal on this one, so I was willing to make that sacrifice. I just gotta make sure I don't drop that. This ghost, I think this is a 1969 as well. I'm pretty positive. I think it's Empire. I don't know. It might not be Empire. It might be a different company. I don't know. Blow mold people are gonna go crazy in the comments, but this one is one of the most classic Halloween decorations ever made because there were two models of this. There was one with the ghost that had completely blacked out eyes, and then there's one where you can see the whites of the eyes. Now, I prefer the one that has the completely blacked out eyes. I mean, there was also one that held a skull and stuff, but I'm talking about the ones with the pumpkins. I prefer the one with the completely blacked out eyes. However, they're usually very expensive. I mean, not like $500 expensive, but around like $100, which is a lot considering the size and how it's not a big thing. It's kind of a lot to pay for something like that, and so I was always hesitant. But when I found this one, I got this one for 30 something. Even though it doesn't have the blacked out eyes, even this one's still pretty hard to find. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do it because I really like it. I'm glad I did. It's got some problems, but I mean, that's a pretty good deal for this thing, especially considering how it is a classic Halloween decoration, which, again, a lot of reproductions and stuff have been made of it. Last up on our list is the most recent thing, which is one of the first things I've ever gotten out of all of these that I've shown today, yet it's still the most recent. This is a Telco it says it on the base, 1993 witch. So I've had this one for quite some time, and unfortunately I don't know if she works anymore because she broke just either last month or earlier this month. I mean, she might still work, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive she doesn't. She might still work, I'm not sure. But these Telco ones, these motionettes are classic. I'm not as big into these as I am the blow molds and all of that stuff, just because, I mean, I like them a lot, but they're not as old, and they are cool. I would like some more. I would like the Frankenstein, the werewolf. I really want the ghost, the scarecrow. I'm not sure if there's a devil. I think there might be. I don't know. I would like some more, and I'd like some of the bigger ones, but I'm not as into these as the others. This one I just have because it was my grandma's. So that's the only reason I have this one. This is more of my mom's thing for sure. Like, my mom loves this thing. I do like the motionettes. They just aren't as cool to me as like the 1920s things, and really the blow molds are my big thing that I like. Anyways, that's all of that. Fun video. I hope you all enjoyed it. It might be a new installment every October now that I do a video like this to show you what I've added on to the vintage Halloween things I own. I've always wanted to do a video showing every Halloween thing I own, but I honestly don't think that's possible. Maybe one of these years, who knows, but I thought this would be a nice video for this Halloween season. So many more to come, as we are still only in the middle of October. We have so much of the spooky season in store, and the greatest part of it is right around the corner. Halloween. So stay tuned, so much more coming your way. Fearville and Fearbrook Asylum open next weekend, so get your tickets at the link in the description if you live in the Pinellas County, Tampa Bay area of Florida. Be sure to do that before they're gone. They're not going to be gone, but be sure to do it so that, you know, you can come out, you can witness Fearville and Fearbrook Asylum for yourself. It's going to be a great time. Best haunt I've ever done. It's very nearing completion, and I can confidently say I think it is going to be my favorite haunt I've done. So you don't want to miss it if you're in the area. Get your tickets. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know which one of these was your favorite in the comments below. And if you own any vintage Halloween decorations or anything of that matter, keep howling at the moon, my werewolves.